My man! That never got old. I love that so much. Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is our post-Geekout reaction for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the longest movie title of anything we have ever done a post-Geekout reaction for. For anybody who is new to this channel, the post-Geekout reactions are not reviews. I do have a review of this up, and in the review I sit down, I write out a script, I make sure to take my time and think about what I want to say so I can get every single thing out there. And if you want to see that, they always go up at the same time as this. There it is, right there. You can click on it right there. The post-Geekout reactions are just our honest thoughts about the thing that we just watched. It's where we just sit down and just bullshit about what we saw, and that means full spoilers. So this is kind of like a spoiler talk, if you want to call it that, but honestly, it's just more of a relaxed discussion about the thing that we saw, and as I said, full spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, click on the review instead. My head has probably moved back so that it is like partly inside the image that I put up there, but I don't care.
Click on his head.
Click on my head. Click on the head, click on anything, click on this entire side of the video. I don't care.
All over there.
There we go, I'm giving you enough time. Alright, but yeah, if you don't want spoilers, the review is where to go. But for now, let's just get into it. And first thing I gotta say is that this movie's dumb. But I don't really mean that negatively. Yeah, kinda negatively, but at the same time, it's like
it's dumb but enjoyable.
It's enjoyable, yeah.
I think that's basically the entire premise of the Ninja Turtles and Ninja Turtles movies in general, basically. It's just, they're silly and dumb, but they're fun and entertaining, and that's basically...
Yeah, there's so many people out there who I know are like, no, the Ninja Turtles should be serious. I want them to be taken with the respect that they deserve. And it's like, brother, go back and watch that cartoon that you grew up with. It was made to sell toys, and I love that cartoon. I grew up on that cartoon. The Turtles were my favorite. Back in those days, it was Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was my favorite.
Mine too.
Maybe Thundercats. Thundercats sometimes squeaked it out there, although Thundercats also didn't really age all that well. But yeah, I will say, if you go back and watch it, it's like, dude, none of this was meant to be taken seriously.
I think the original comic was meant to be serious, but
no, it wasn't. That is
it was supposed to be a parody.
That's another thing that so many people point to is like, well, the comic was originally dark and gray. It's like, yes, as a joke. That's something that drives me nuts when people are like, no, the comic was meant to be taken seriously. The comic was meant to be a joke about how at the time Frank Miller's Daredevil was really popular, and the X-Men were really popular, and it was meant to be a parody that said, you can sell anything as long as you have that dark, gritty street tone to it, and it contains mutants. That's what the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic was. I mean, it was all a parody of Daredevil. I mean, for God's sakes, they got their powers from mutagens spilling into the sewers. There are many interpretations of that in which you can actually go back and go, yeah, that's the truck that hit Matt Murdock that spilled all the mutagen that gave him his powers. That's where that came from. And also, what was the villains from Frank Miller's run on Daredevil? The Hand. The clan of ninjas, the Hand. Who are the ninjas that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fight?
The Foot Clan.
Yeah, see? For God's sakes, it's one of those usual suspects like turn around and drop your coffee cup moment when you realize how much of a parody that original thing was. So yeah.
Not to mention the whole vigilante things coming out at night and fighting people. But
yeah, that was definitely Daredevil's thing back then. It's like you could say Batman, but that was a fictional city. Like Turtles, very clearly New York. Daredevil, very clearly New York. So yeah, it's one of those things in which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they were bad. They're not at all. They were very good. I'm just saying, to all those people out there who keep going, it's like, well, yeah, but I was a fan of back when they were serious. They were never fucking serious. Never.
No.
Stop it.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. Ninja Turtles were meant to be fun.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not a single goddamn word in that implies that it should be taken seriously. How can you
take that title seriously?
Coming out this year, Christopher Nolan's Samurai Pizza Cats. Alright, but yeah, okay, so, but at the same time, there are many other things out there that are not meant to be taken seriously, but are great. And, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I don't know why that one just suddenly came to my mind, but that is an incredibly crazy and zany and goofy film, but it's damn good. Like, it is a shockingly good film. So I can understand people coming in here and saying, it's like, okay, I understand it's supposed to be silly, but I still want it to be good. I do think that this film has a ton of problems to it. It's kind of lazy in the script, but at the same time, it's so damn enjoyable. It is, and a lot of that comes from the Turtles.
Yes.
The Turtles are great.
Exactly.
Like, I still think that Raph is a bit too beefy. They shrunk everybody else down. Like, Donatello is definitely the most, like, shrunken down. I think that's good because he's the nerd. And Mikey is definitely shorter, which is great because he's the kid. And Leonardo looks leaner, which is good because he's meant to be the most ninja-y of them all. But Raph, they kept it the same size. And so compared to the Turtles and how they've shrunk them down, Raph looks like the Hulk of their, like, he needs to go down a few notches too. But
he's been soaking that ooze a bit too long.
Yeah. It's like, I was like, the big thing in this is that they find the purple ooze and it's like, this could turn us human, and I was kind of hoping that they would like get a little bit on them and it would shrink them down just a tad, like just not enough to, like, you know, make them human, but just enough that they could go, oh, here's an explanation for why we're not so freakishly big anymore.
Like, I thought it'd be like a temporary thing. It's like, okay, we have this and it'll turn us human, but only for a certain amount of time, so we can go out and do our thing and get back before time runs out.
Yeah, which that was a weird thing. Again, to anybody who's new to the post Geekout reactions, we just jump around. We don't talk about it in a linear order. But by the way, I gotta point something out. You haven't been on the last 2 or 3 post Geekout reactions that we've done, and someone has actually been commenting, "Where's Michelle?" So, so you have fans.
Oh wow. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't been around, but
you haven't seen the stuff we've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
no
like
reason.
Most, like, what was it? Warcraft and X-Men. Like, those 2 movies were not.
Warcraft, X-Men, and Flash season 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched a bit of Flash, but not enough to like know exactly what's going on to give like a good like synopsis and opinion on it. And yeah, those 2 movies I haven't seen it because it just, I wasn't interested in X-Men because it got like mediocre reviews. And yeah, I don't know much about Warcraft, so that's another.
Neither did I, but I still saw it.
Yeah, well, that's because this is your channel and you have to review stuff.
All right, we're good. No explanation. Okay, what the fuck were we talking about a second ago? Okay, I totally forgot what I was going to say about the purple ooze. I actually had to go back and review what we just recorded, and I still have no idea what I was about to say about it. It'll come back to me. But anyway, yeah, so basically in this film, they get the purple ooze, and the way that Shredder gets it is just so weird. Like I said, these are one of the problems with this movie, is that it really just feels like they had to get from one thing to the next just right away, because Shredder is breaking out of prison, and then magically there's a teleportation device. I gotta point something out though. I got into the theater about like almost 10 minutes late because I went to go and get us refreshments at the concession stand. And literally, as we were walking to the theater, I was walking there from work, and I was walking there with another coworker of mine. He said, "Where are you going to see the movie?" And I said, "The Regal." And he goes, "Oh, when I hear that movie's playing at the Regal, sometimes I just avoid it." And I'm like, "Why? What's so bad about the Regal?" And as I was sitting there, going on like minute 20, waiting for this concession stand line to move, I was like, "You know what? I think I just figured it out. I think I just figured out the problem with this Regal cinema. I think I get it now." But yeah, so I ended up missing like the first 10 minutes, but was there any mention of a teleportation device?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
just making
so
sure.
yeah, I was just as confused as you were.
Yeah, like literally, like Baxter Stockman just out of nowhere goes, "Oh, he's not gonna be able to make it in time. Time to bring out the teleportation device." I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like basically while you were waiting for snacks and everything, the Ninja Turtles were like sneaking into like a Knicks game and everything, and then April was like undercover and trying to track down this nerdy guy who works for the Shredder. And,
Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, Baxter Stockman, sorry. Yeah, I can't really remember anybody's
I know them from the comics. That's the only reason that I know them. Yeah, because I'm terrible with names, but if I read them over and over and over again in the comics, I can understand it.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, he was working for the Shredder, and he was working on like the teleportation device to like help him escape, help him break out of prison.
So there is mention of a teleportation device.
Well, kind of like he's like, well, like April like hacked into his like like phone or something, and there were some files, and she said, "Oh, I wasn't able to like get much information before they automatically got deleted, but there was something about a teleporter." Or
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some kind of a mention.
Some mention, but not much.
I'll give them that then.
Yeah.
But that's not. But it's like I will take that apology right back because. When he's teleported, there's like, well, where did he go? And then he's just immediately on like Krang's ship, and Krang just comes out of nowhere. And I remember you just went, "Oh damn!" Like when he popped out.
Pretty much.
And it wasn't in a like, "Oh damn, that's the Krang." It was like a, "Oh damn, really?" kind of thing.
No.
Because I mean, there's no like, it's not like Thanos in the Avengers films in which he's just sitting there like, "Yes, I will show up in the third act." No, he just suddenly like the Shredder just pops there. "Where am I?" And it's just, "Yeah, Shredder."
Like literally, it just like shoves his face in front of you.
I know. It's like holy. It's Brad Garrett playing him. I had no idea it was Brad Garrett. That's awesome because Brad Garrett is one of my favorite voice actors out there, and he gets like no work. So I'm glad to see him in that. And the weird thing is like. Krang in the old cartoon, he had a very squeaky voice.
Yeah.
And Brad Garrett's voice is like this deep. But Brad Garrett still tried to talk like Krang.
Yeah.
Like still doing the like, "You will go and get me these 3 pieces." I was like, that is so weird, but it kind of works.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I know, like, this movie was not meant to be taken seriously, but having, like, the original Krang voice would be like, that'd be a bit too silly.
In a Michael Bay film, yeah, it's like, when you have the giant robo-mech dude suits, it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
plus,
like,
Krang is huge.
Oh,
like,
massive.
Krang in the old ones, he looked like the size of a head. This one, he is this big.
He's like literally almost the same size as like Shredder's body, if not bigger. Like
he's like literally, he is like he could fight by his brain cell by just shoving it into their face because it's that big.
I will shit on you.
Yeah, Krang's not bad in this either.
No.
I kind of like it. It's just the fact that it's like, here he is! Now he's gone. No mention of him at all for 3 acts. Bam! He's back. It's like,
yep.
It's like, there's something good here in this story, but man, did you need someone to come in and polish it. Mm-hmm. Someone who knows something about story structure. Because there were also like tons of like just small things in here that was like, you just need a punch-up artist coming here and putting like one line to explain these things. Because there were so many moments like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was like a moment in which like Leo was like, so you're trying to track down Bebop and Rocksteady? And I was like, wait a minute. How do you know about Bebop and Rocksteady? Because I was like, I don't remember them like talking about Bebop and Rocksteady at all before this. It was just Casey Jones talking about them the whole time, and all of a sudden they know about them. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna question that. Whatever. By the way, speaking of Casey Jones, how'd you feel about him?
Meh.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I feel about like the human characters in general.
That's a little bit nicer than how I feel. I hated Megan Fox in the first one, but it was mostly because the film was the April O'Neil story, and Megan Fox. Like I wouldn't want to say I'm a Megan Fox defender, but to all those people out there who's like, oh, she's the worst actress ever. She's god awful. I was like, calm down. She's fine. She's not the worst ever. She's just meh. But in that last Turtles film, she was awful. I hated her in that last one. In this one, I think she's better, but I think it is largely because she's not in it that much.
Like, it's not focused on her, so she's not like forced to like act as much.
Yeah, and they also realize this is not a movie about her. Mm-hmm. It's about the Turtles.
Yes.
And thank God for that.
Oh, yes.
Because, like, she still is just like, whatever. And Casey Jones is just another whatever. It's like, if you're one of those people who's like, I want it to be like it is from when I was a kid, or like from any of these things, I can point to stuff in here that goes, that is like it was when you were a kid. It's just, a little bit tweaked, a little bit different, but it does still contain the same spirit. Casey Jones is the one thing in which I'm like, not even close. Not because Casey Jones was a crazed street vigilante going out there with a hockey mask and a hockey stick. In this one, he's a cop who wants to be a detective one day. He's squeaky clean, super polished, whereas like Casey Jones in every incarnation has just been like a guy who looks like he's just had the crap kicked out of him 5 minutes before he got on set. This one, like, it's Stephen Amell, And you don't get Stephen Amell in there so you can dirty him up. Stephen Amell in there is there to be a face. He's there to come in and smile and have a little ting in his teeth, which also is code for don't expect to see that hockey mask on him all that much. It's like, we ain't gonna have his face covered in this movie.
We need to show people handsome and beautiful actors and actresses.
Yeah, so to all you people out there, it's like, oh god, why do they have to do that to April O'Neil? They kind of did the opposite end of the gender spectrum with Casey Jones in this one. So I was like, all right, well.
Granted, Casey didn't have to like strip down or anything.
Fuck
like,
that.
That was horrible.
That was such garbage. You've seen it in the trailers where you see her walking with like the Catholic schoolgirl looking outfit on.
Like cowboy, Catholic school, like, I don't know, like she had like
I don't know what she was going for.
I have no.
But she had like the belly thing, her belly shirt tied up, and I was like, there's no reason for this scene at all. Aside from the fact that Michael Bay has a creepish obsession with Megan Fox. Like, it is one of those things in which you hear about like the behind the scenes stuff, and it's like, man, I really don't want to compliment anything in any movie that involves the two of them together, because like, I'm sure there's some fucked up stuff going behind the scenes, but it's one of those things in which the moment I saw the scene, I was like, there's no reason for this. This is dumb.
Like at first, like April was like in disguise and everything because she was undercover, but then like suddenly she's done with her mission and she has to like go after someone else. So she's like, so basically it's like, oh, time to use my sex appeal, and that's when she does the.
But she was just like waiting on like a thing to download on her phone. It's like, you could have, and like she was trying to escape some people, so she was like, oh, some new crowds. Like, you could also just go into the women's bathroom. It's like, you'll be totally fine. Oh god, that was so terrible.
That was really forced.
Oh, was it ever? Okay, but
the good thing about this movie is like it does not focus on the people as much as it did with the first movie, which was my biggest concern and kind of why I was bored with the first movie for a bit.
Yeah, in the first movie, I think we both felt the same way, which is that the way that I always described it was, this is a really good fan-made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that's only 10 to 15 minutes long. And they came in, saw that, and said, hey, this is good. Can you pad this out to 2 hours? And they're like, no, that's all that we have for the Turtles. And it's like, I guess we'll throw a bunch of boring humans in there to pad it out. Because, yeah, there's a lot of stuff from that first one. If you just look at the Turtles and you just go with that, it's actually pretty decent Turtle stuff in there. I actually liked a lot of that stuff. In this one, it's the Turtles.
Yes.
It's the Turtles show. It's all about them. And I gotta say, I love these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the thing that makes this movie work is the relationship between the Turtles. It's that they feel like brothers, and also their personalities are all super distinct, which was the appeal of the original show.
Yeah.
But here, it's even more so. And so when you see them like working off each other, it's great. There's amazing chemistry between these guys. Like Mikey in almost every incarnation has always been annoying to me. This to me is like the Mikey that finally makes me laugh. Like, this Mikey actually cracks me up all throughout this film. And a lot of that also has to do with the animation.
Yeah.
Because the special effects, like, they have amazing reactions. Like, the facial expressions on these guys are perfect. Like, they know what to do with their facial expressions to enhance every word that they're saying. So, yeah, when Mikey delivers a joke, it might not be a great joke, but because of his facial expression, it's perfect. Or like the plane jumping scene when Raph was afraid to jump out of there. The way that he got all wide, I was like, no. I was like, that is some of the best expression work I've seen on a CG character ever. That is excellent.
Like, yeah, Mikey is the jokey one, but like there was like a scene where it's like, you know, like the cops find them and everything. He's like, what are they? They're monsters. And like Mike, you can see the hurt in Mikey's eyes. Like, I'm not a monster. Like, you can actually like see the tears welling up.
Yeah.
And that got me right here.
It did. Honestly, it did. And part of the reason why it gets you is because Mikey has been so jokey throughout all this that when you see him feeling hurt and you see him really, really hurt by those police, it's like, man, that does get you. Like, it feels all that much bigger.
And like that's why they say like Mikey's the heart of the team. You know, like Donnie's the brains, Raph is the muscle, and like Leo's like the leader. So yeah, so like they all like have their own personalities and they all have their own contributions to the team.
Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja. Okay.
Okay, moving on.
But yeah, so the Turtles are great. They're great. I like Splinter in here too. Like Splinter actually did feel kind of like a father figure.
Yes.
Like when Leo said thanks Dad, I was like, I buy them as father son. This is actually really good.
Yeah, it's like he did not appear that much, but when he did, he was awesome.
Yeah, he really was. Tony Shalhoub is so good as the Splinter too. I gotta give him that. Let me see what else. Shredder, I felt was kind of wasted in this.
Yeah.
Though. I gotta say, I was like, because they recast the Shredder. Because make no mistake, in that first film, the Shredder was going to be that white science dude, but then the entire internet was like, you cast a guy who is very much Asian and whose entire backstory depends on him being an Asian character, and you made him a white dude, and then they were like, no, we didn't. That's a guy working for the Shredder. So, yeah, and that's why the only time that you see the Shredder out of costume, he's like in shadows, and he's like two scenes. Like, yeah, man. That's also why whenever that white science dude just disappears, they pull a Clark Kent Superman on him, which is like, oh, hey, man, you totally missed the Shredder. He was just here. Oh, did I, Lois? It's like, yeah, you were clearly going to be that guy. In this one, they recast him, and he's pretty good. I like him in here. But it gets to that moment which is like, oh, stuff's about to go down. Freeze you, put you in the little toy box, and take you into the other dimensions. Like, oh! So we ain't getting squat from the Shredder in this film.
Like, I don't know, I kind of felt like... There's the ice cream truck outside.
Yeah, there's an ice cream truck outside, it's fine.
Yeah.
People, if you've watched the post-Geekout reactions, you know we record this on our thinking couch, which is right next to the window that has no insulation, and you can hear everything outside.
Yeah, but like, anyway, I was gonna say, like... I kind of felt like Shredder was, like, half-assed in this movie. Like, he didn't really do much except stand around and be serious. And then he got tricked by Krang. It's like, wow, you're really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, none of this makes sense. Like, you just met this weird alien guy. It's like, you don't have, like, a plan to double-cross him at all? Like, you're fully believing this weird brain alien? This is...
I mean, it's like, as someone who has betrayed others, you'd think he would know that that's how evil masterminds work and shit.
You think that he, as an evil mastermind, would be already prepared as like, oh, I'm ready to betray you. I will say I like Baxter Stockman. Mm-hmm. I kind of called this when the trailer came out and people were like, oh, Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman, that is so miscast, we're going to do it terrible. There's two types of Baxter Stockmans. There is the cold, calculating businessman Baxter Stockman. And then there is the goofy nerd Baxter Stockman. And I was like, listen, if they're going to do the cold, calculating Baxter Stockman, Tyler Perry is going to screw this up because Tyler Perry cannot act. However, Tyler Perry can play a character. And there's a difference between acting and playing a character, and Tyler Perry can definitely play a character. If they make Baxter Stockman just some nerd character, some goofy nerd, hell yeah, Tyler Perry could totally do that. I think he did it. Like, that laugh of his, I was like, that's perfect. That's actually a really good, like, goofy nerd laugh.
Yeah, it's like, I know you were, like, once again, getting refreshments, but, like, when April was, like,
I was gone for a long-ass time.
Yeah, but, like, when April, like, went up to Baxter and everything so she could hack his phone, like, you know, she was, you know, pretending to be a big fan of his, and she's like, oh, there's a big difference between a nerd and a geek, and he's like, oh, yeah, it's like the difference between a TED Talk and Comic-Con. It's just, and you know,
that's actually kind of true.
Yeah, it is. And
that's what I'm always saying. All
yeah,
right.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to bring it up because I knew you would like that.
It's actually, yeah. It's like, okay, that's one of the few lines in this whole movie in which I'm not like, oh, you kind of get it. Oh, that ice cream truck is getting really damn close. I kind of want to run out there and grab some.
It's getting closer. It just crashes through the window.
Should we be worried about the ice cream truck? No, I'll be fine. Okay, but alright, so speaking of, goddamn it, we're still doing this. Okay, so the Turtles were great, I like Baxter Stockman, so some are like 50-50. The thing I think that really pushes me over on this one, and puts me firmly in the like category, is Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh yeah.
People have been waiting for these guys to pop up forever, because it was one of those weird things in which they were created for the old cartoon, but because they were created for the old cartoon, the rights for it were in a weird limbo state, so that's why they could never put them in any of the previous movies. That's why they couldn't put them in any of the like in-between cartoon series. Like those two characters have been in a limbo state forever, and this is the first time in which it was finally like, no, we can actually do something with them. Like the rights are finally freed up, so that's why they're in the current Nickelodeon cartoon, they're in this one, and they're in the IDW comic. By the way, to all these people out there who are like, oh, you know, I want my Turtles to be serious. I do enjoy all that stuff from the previous incarnations. I do enjoy all the goofy stuff, but I'm older now, I like more serious things. I want to see the stuff that I love interpreted into a way that I as an adult can enjoy it. The IDW comics have got you, alright? That series is excellent, and it takes everything from every previous incarnation and interprets it wonderfully. Like, we were talking about how it's like, you can't take the Ninja Turtles seriously, and then you read the IDW comic and it's like, oh my god, they're taking them seriously and they're making it work. And I will say, as good as Bebop and Rocksteady are in this, the Bebop and Rocksteady in the IDW comic is my favorite incarnation of them ever, because they are just big, powerful juggernauts, like unstoppable machines, but they're still like just dude bros who just love hanging out and chilling. Like everything in the IDW comic is dark and serious. Aside from Bebop and Rocksteady, they're still just goofy guys.
And I think that's important. Like, you can't be dark and serious all the time. You need like
also
light.
With guys called Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, you need to have humor and light and a bit of light in order to, like, you know, balance things out.
Yeah, there was previously, like in a very recent issue of the IDW series, Bebop and Rocksteady were down in like Costa Rica, I think it was, working for this mob boss down there, and they ended up just destroying everything of theirs and taking him on and kicking his ass because they didn't like the way they were being treated. And then afterwards, they were just walking through the streets with people running afraid from them. And they go, well, I guess that didn't work out. What should we do now? I guess we should have to go back to America. And then Bebop goes, Rocksteady, are you stupid? Look at us, man. We don't have our passports. How are we going to get on the plane? I was like, that's it. It's like, that's the thing that I always loved about Bebop and Rocksteady too, is that these guys are taken and they're turned into freaks, into monsters, and they don't give a crap. They like it. They love it. And that's something that they totally captured with the Bebop and Rocksteady in this. They nailed that these two guys, yeah, they're not tragic figures. They're not the dark, gruesome, oh, I have no choice in life but to turn to crime. How will I ever be human again? They don't want to be human. They love crime. They just want to go kick ass.
They just want to go hog wild, pun intended.
Yeah. By the way, that spaghetti scene was on. I love that spaghetti scene. Where he's just sucking all, it's like,
It's like all wrapped around his tusks and everything.
And those two guys have the best bromance. Like, you totally buy. These are two guys who just, they love each other. It's great seeing them together. Like I said, my man, that never got old. I laughed every time at that. So yeah, just seeing those two guys and just seeing like them hang out with each other, it was so much fun. They nailed those guys. My only complaint is I will say that I like the fight between them and the Turtles in Brazil. Although it seemed weird that they just had to go to Brazil all of a sudden and then come back. Yeah. Yeah, that was... someone was pointing out, I was like, I think they probably just wanted a vacation to Brazil. And I was like, they weren't even in Brazil long enough for that to be worth a vacation. They could have shot that anywhere.
Yeah, they were like mostly on the plane.
They were mostly on the plane, which maybe it's that they just said, hey, I got an idea for a plane sequence. And it's like, okay, well, where can we go? I don't know, Brazil. That's, yeah, like there's no real reason for that.
I also have like an idea for like a water, like a chase down the river. It's like, oh hey, there's the Amazon River. Let's do that. So.
Yes, oh yeah. It was like there had to have been something behind that to get them to Brazil, like some kind of a like budget thing where it's like, hey, we get tax breaks if we go to Brazil or something like that. But it's like, I have no clue. There's no point to it.
It's weird. It's like the three pieces that they need to make the teleporter and to like bring Krang into the world. Like, two of them landed in New York, and one of them happens to land all the way in Brazil.
Well, no, oh yeah, one of them was in New York, because Baxter's talking about already had it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, then they had to go to the Museum of Natural History and break it out of the Planetarium.
Yeah. So yeah, but then the other was like, and Brazil. It's like, alright, okay. Whatever. So yeah, but I really like that fight scene between them. Also, when the plane was great. But it kind of bummed me out that Bebop and Rocksteady just got taken down by not Casey Jones. That literally was like, okay, so when do we get the rematch between the Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady? It's like, that doesn't happen. It's like, that was disappointing. And also, it was like, yeah, they get taken out by, like, he just swerves around them. They go into the tank thing and he throws a grenade at them. And I was like, I don't think Bebop and Rocksteady would be taken out by a grenade. We've seen them take some pretty heavy, like, damage throughout this. And we even hear them still inside afterwards. Okay, I was like, I feel like they probably should have, like, gotten out afterwards. Like, at least had, like, a post, like, they mentioned they're in lockup, but I'm like, I would rather they have just had, like, a post-credit scene of them, like, still in the tanker or something. And,
like something with them in the post-credits, because, like, that's kind of the reason why we sat up during the credits. I wanted to see...
There needed to be some kind of a post-credit scene, like, especially with Shredder, like, kidnapped there, like, something of him, like, waking up in Dimension X, and coming back to life.
Like, Krang would be like, okay, maybe we do need to team up.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, although I will say that when you saw him frozen there and goes into, like, the collection, I really want to pause on that scene, because I guarantee you there had to be some Easter eggs in there. I think I saw a Triceraton, which was the weird race of space Triceratops that the Turtles fight. And I read online that someone saw Usagi Yojimbo in there, which would be interesting. Because they did have, like, a little Easter egg about Usagi Yojimbo in the first one, in which the scientist dude sees them and he goes, and we were going to experiment on rabbits. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what you did there. I would prefer they had said, like, sharks or cats or something else from, like, the 80s cartoons. So Bebop and Rocksteady were great. It kind of didn't like how they got taken out. I thought the fight with Krang was pretty darn good. It was kind of, like, dumb that it was like, the team is broken up. We can never work together again. We gotta work together. Teamwork! And I was like, oh, alright, whatever. It's like, it's one of those things where, like, if this was a Saturday morning cartoon back in the 80s when I was a kid, I would have bought it. I would have been fine with it. But, me as an adult, I'm like, nah, you need more, man. You need, like, an actual buying thing. Like, same thing goes for when Raph throws the canister away. I think that's what I wanted to say earlier on when I forgot to say about the purple ooze. That was like, I think it was Leo who got the speech from Splinter that said that it's like... Oh, no, wait. It was Leo gave, like, a speech to Raph. Someone gave a speech. It was they were like, how can others respect you? The first thing you have to do is respect yourself. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, the team just broke up very much over this issue of whether or not they should use the canister. And then Donnie hands them the canisters and says, it's all up to you guys. And Leo's like, whatever you choose. And then he throws it away. And then there's, like, nothing. Like, no commentary on... And I'm just like, someone need to come in and punch that up and just have Raph say one line about, it's like, I don't need them to accept us. I accept us. Something like that. Or, it's like, the city doesn't need humans. It needs turtles. Something like that. But no, he just, like, takes it and is like, nope, change your heart, throw it. And it's like,
I wonder if there would be, like, a deleted scene or something.
I honestly don't, maybe not a deleted scene, but, like, a deleted line from the script.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but, like...
But honestly, it's like, I don't get that feeling because there's so many times like that, and which is like, dude, you just need one line for any of this to make sense. And it's like, I think it's just the writers.
Yeah.
I do think that it's like, you need to trust different people to write the next one. If there is a next one, because this ain't doing well at the box office at all. This is a very interesting year. This is the year in which the critics, like this and like the tail end of last year, it makes this the year in which the critics are really, like, deciding the box office. Because, like, Warcraft didn't do well last week. Like, The Conjuring won last week. And it was the only well-reviewed film of last week. But, like, everything else this year that, like, the critics have hated has tanked. Like, the only real exception is Batman vs. Superman. And even that, in week 2 and beyond that, just plummeted. It's very weird right now that people are not going and seeing films that people are saying is bad.
Are people actually listening to critics?
I don't know. I'd like to say so, but I mean, that's a weird thing. Maybe it's just that people are just kind of like getting tired of all this, big explosion stuff. They want different stuff from their summer blockbusters, which I can understand.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think that this film was kind of harshly judged because... yeah, man, it's made for the people who just want a big screen version of the old 80s cartoon, and it fails in a few ways, like with Casey Jones and April O'Neil. But the Turtles, they get. Bebop and Rocksteady, they get. Krang, they get. So it's like, you know what, man? This is as close as I can imagine us getting to an adaptation of that old 80s cartoon. And you can totally tell that that's the tone they're going with in this one, because in the first one, when it showed comic panels, and it definitely tried to go more for the tone of the old comic. And in this one, when the credits started rolling, it showed them in the bright and colorful, kind of like goofy drawings from the 1980s. And I was like, it's very clearly that there is a tonal difference.
Yeah, they even did a remix of the Ninja Rap.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Did you even pick up on that Vanilla Ice?
I got that one. Yeah, there's a Vanilla Ice thing in there. That was a good one. By the way, you guys want to know the Daredevil connection goes even deeper, because the bar in which Casey Jones goes and visits is the same bar that Luke Cage ran in the Jessica Jones TV show. That's a real bar located here in New York City, and it was the same one used in both. And Jessica Jones is part of the Netflix Marvel Cinematic World, which contains Daredevil. So it's like, damn, man.
It's 6 degrees of Daredevil.
Yeah, it's that one wasn't even on purpose, but it was still just freaky that it's connection. By the way, I did really like that, the Turtles are very much New York heroes. They're very much set in New York. It's very important to their characters. And I love that they actually did shoot this in New York. You could definitely tell. Although there was a moment in which Casey Jones found perfect parking right next to Bryant Park, and I was like, get the fuck out. That's the most unbelievable thing in all this. I will buy the mutants over me buying you finding parking in front of Bryant Park. But yeah, that's such a weird New York complaint. But yeah, that was the other thing that I wanted to comment on with the Purple Ooze. That was one thing that I thought was just too lazy, in which they were like, oh yeah, here's this purple ooze. Okay, beep bop boop, shoot those two guys. They're turning into animals because all humans contain connections to animals in some way, shape, or form. It's like, you kidding me with this shit? You couldn't come up with anything? You couldn't give us a second to talk about this shit? It really is someone kept coming in and going, dude, no one cares about anything in this film that doesn't involve mutants. If the Turtles are not on screen, you gotta move this plot. Don't give us time for Baxter Stockman to study this. Have him just instantly figure it out. Don't give us time to explain why you're bringing in animals. Don't have him experiment on some other stuff to run some tests on. Don't give us time with just Bebop and Rocksteady in their human forms. Just instantly turn them into mutants. Just bam, like that.
It's that's a good and bad thing is we wanted Bebop, Rocksteady, and the Turtles, but you kind of need to build it up a bit.
I really want this penthouse on the top of this building. You kind of also need to build a couple of floors below that and the support beams.
Yes.
So yeah, it's this. So yeah, okay. In conclusion, I think the best way to sum this up, this is again a really great fan-made Ninja Turtles film. It's just they don't have this stuff in there to make the story actually work. If you just watch this, and you just watch a scene of the Turtles fighting Bebop and Rocksteady, you'd be like, oh man, that's great. You just saw a scene of Bebop and Rocksteady hanging out, that's great. You just see the scene of the Turtles hanging out and talking and communicating with each other, that is awesome. You actually then take those scenes and trying to figure out a structure to bind all that together. It's no, that structure is dumb.
Yeah.
That structure is really dumb. So it's one of those in which, the way to enjoy this is go in there and just realize you're there to see the Turtles. You're there to see Bebop and Rocksteady. You're there to see Krang. If you go in there with that mindset, I think you'll have a good time. I had a good time.
Yeah, and that's the kind of mindset we had, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But I think I said this in the review. If at any point during this film you hear the question, how is that start coming up in your mouth, shove popcorn in there just to kind of keep it down, because there's no way you can enjoy this film if you're the type of person who goes in there and going, well, how does any of this make sense? Because it doesn't. But, it's like I said, it's fun to just go and enjoy. And also, this is great for kids. This film, it barely needed to be PG-13. It really almost could have been PG.
Yeah, I think they said what, shit once or twice? I don't know.
Maybe once or something. But aside from that, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean kids have watched worse stuff on YouTube, so
Kids are watching this right now and it's sound way worse. So yeah, it's one of those things in which this is made for kids. And you know what? The kids that were in that audience, you could hear them enjoying it.
Yes.
And that's awesome because you know what the thing about the 1980s Ninja Turtles cartoon was? It was made for kids. It was aimed at kids. So it's like, in a way, again, this does capture that spirit. So I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I have if I want serious Turtles, I've got that IDW comic for now. And if you want something that is fun and more all ages friendly, you do have that one that's on Nickelodeon right now. That one's actually really good too. And this one, to me, captures the third side of the Turtles, which is let's just go and have fun watching these Turtles hang out, and it's aimed at young kids. So I feel like between those three, no matter what kind of turtle you want, you can find that somewhere right now. But thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you want to see that review, I will have it on my face right here. And if you want to subscribe to this channel to see future post Geekout reactions and future reviews, which are way better and more structured. I'm not going to say better, because these shows have their appeal. People actually like the post Geekout reactions a lot. Like when I uploaded my X-Men one, that one actually got more views than the review did. So it's weird. Like, I think people kind of enjoy just the open honesty of these things. But so if you want to see these and reviews and other stuff from the world of geekery, whether it be comic books, movies, video games, all that stuff, go ahead and click that subscribe button. But for now, I'm going to say goodnight. Bye, everyone. I was Aaron.
Bye.
That was Michelle.
I'm Michelle, yes.
Bye.